TPUSA. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope the show finds you in great spirits because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Happy Saturday night to everybody. You know, SATURDAY, right? Ain't that a song? All right. But hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. Hope you guys are enjoying this Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning, or Sunday morning, you know, because you guys are in the future watching this show. So hopefully you guys are enjoying your day, okay? But it is that time of year. It's Christmas time. Everybody's getting ready. People are doing their last-minute shopping, losing their doggone minds. And trust me, just shop with love. Remember what you're shopping for. Be happy. Don't be mad at each other because you didn't get the closest parking spot. Don't go into road rage. Definitely don't drive angry. We want you to arrive alive. That's all that matters, okay? But nonetheless, we got some things we've got to get into because there's some really crazy stuff that's going on. And I had a feeling, I just felt this in my heart. I felt this in my soul that you guys wanted me to talk about what's been going on in the MAGA world. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm even talking about it, to be honest. But I'm honored that you guys are interested in me talking about what's going on. So we are going to talk about it. All right? You guys are interested. So we are going to get this conversation going. So do me a favor, before we get into everything, hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button, please, and thank you. If you are watching on these other platforms, okay? And if you are watching on these platforms, other platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, please make sure you hit that follow button on those platforms, okay? Of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button here on my main channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Go to my third channel, Pascal Raw. Subscribe over there as well. That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. All right. Hit that notification bell on all those platforms so you know whenever I go live or whenever I upload on those platforms. Because honestly, it's random or it's breaking news. So I'm just giving you guys the information when I can and as quickly as I can. So make sure that notification bell is set to all. Okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. All right, guys. We got to get into this. And I got to be real. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And everybody's getting their kids coming back home from college or maybe boarding school or maybe, I don't know, maybe you took your kid to military school because he acting a fool out here. You never know, okay? But at the same time, every kid is back home right now. And so hopefully everyone's happy. Everyone's filled with joy. Everyone is having great conversations. Hold on. That's very important. Great conversations and open-minded conversations. Let me just say this before we jump into everything. I think this is very important that us as families in America, and actually everywhere else in the world, because obviously there's a lot of people all over the world that are waiting for Santa to break into your home and drop off presents. It's a weird opposite version of a breaking and entering. But other than that, you guys are looking forward to Santa coming in, dropping those presents and having a great time, eating beautiful meals, having great conversations over fermented grapes and salted meats. I just want to remind you that this is what is very important, is that you go into these conversations with an open mind. Hold on, y'all. Let me just say this because I know what's going to happen. I know some families are going to get heated because there's going to be one person, one kid, one whatever that's going to come in with their opinions about how they think the world should work. And you're going to have a little old school mixing with a little new school in the same room at the same damn time. Opposing views all around the table. whilst you are filling your bellies with amazing food. I'm just saying, for all you old heads and all you new heads, we all think we know how to drive this car. All I say is proceed with caution and proceed with an open mind. Yes, open-mindedness. Because here's the thing. Not every single person that's sitting at that table is going to agree with your opinions. And it's very important because, again, like I said, we are venturing into Christmas time. Today is the 20th. Oh, my God, it's the 20th. Oh, my God. I thought it was the 19th for a second there. Okay, it's the 20th. We basically have 4 more days because this day gone. And you know for a fact, a lot of y'all are still doing your last minute shopping and you're already wound up. You know what I mean? You're getting a little Ebenezer Scroogey whilst you are running out here trying to get your last minute gifts, yelling at the person that just took that really close parking spot and all that. You know what I mean? So we already have people fairly heated right now, fairly angry and fairly heated. So all I got to say is push all that BS aside. Let me just take this off for a second. Put all this BS to the side. All right? Wrap those presents with a smile on your face. Don't worry about how much you paid, how much of that money you just dropped on certain gifts, and just know it is energy that you're giving out that will come back to you. And as you sit there and you listen to that kid who just came from, I don't know, some politics 101 class, and he aced it, by the way, but he thinks he knows how the world should work, just proceed with an open mind. Open-mindedness. This is the time that if that conversation does happen, and if you feel like you're going to lose your mind, that you're about to blow your top, just get up and just casually and gently excuse yourself from the conversation. That's all you need to do. You realize that. That's all you need to do. Okay? Just go, you know what? I'm going outside to get some really good cold air. It's getting a little stuffy in here. I'll be back. If you can't hold or handle the conversation, because we all have somebody in our family that's willing to start a debate. You know exactly who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about. So all I'm saying is, hey, proceed with caution. And when you know for a fact it's starting to venture into that world, and you don't want it, you don't want to have it, you don't want to deal with that, just get up and walk out. You know, it's a simple thing. Get up and walk out. Or try not to have those conversations at the dinner table at all. If you can do that, shoot, I think we'll all have a holly jolly Christmas with you. Okay? But you know for a fact there's going to be conversations. So I'm just saying, proceed with love. Proceed with open-mindedness. And remember, the conversation that you're having is not going to change how the world is right now. It might change how you guys perceive each other. It might open your mind to certain things, which is great. But like I said, some people want to be right. They just want to walk out being like, I won that debate. I'm right. But does it change anything? No, not really. So like I said, proceed with open-mindedness. There it is. Now, we got to get into this because there's some really crazy stuff going on that everybody's been talking about for the past couple days. So TPUSA had AmericaFest, or they're having AmericaFest. They're still in the middle of doing it right now as we speak, okay? They really are. What's weird is how the whole thing popped off. Not only did the event, is the event, and it doesn't matter what side of the political fence you are on. It is TPUSA, and by the way, how many events do they mother loving have? Like, how many events do they have an event every single month? Real talk, it feels like Charlie Kirk was doing the college tour. Unfortunately, he lost his life. Then, of course, now I understand this was only 3 months ago, but you had the memorial service. Then I think there was another event that happened after that. Then she's out here pushing his book that miraculously was done right around the time that he lost his life. And then now we got AmericaFest that apparently they do every year. This is a yearly thing that they've been doing as of late, which is fine. It's cool. Like, it's totally cool. But at the same time, dang, it's TPUSA just pumped in our brains, in our faces, in our eyes every day, it seems like. But it's interesting. Ben Shapiro had some very choice words to say about a gang of different people while up on the stage speaking. Erica Kirk had a few things to say as well. Then something weird happened on stage that we need to look at as well. And then even Tucker Carlson had some things to say. And let me tell you this. Clearly, Charlie Kirk was the glue that kept this group of people together. And now, what's happening now? They're all trying to destroy each other. Real talk. I mean, the only person that's kind of like off to the side doing her own thing is really Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk. But other than that, everybody else just going after each other. And let's not forget, off on the side is Candace Owens. We got Candy Owen in the corner, still putting in her 2 cents about everything that's going on. Let me tell you this. This is the worst look for MAGA. Like I said, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you are on. You can see it from space. This is a very, very bad look for MAGA. What they've been building, what they've been cultivating for damn near a decade almost, since Trump got into office his first term. It's almost 10 years of them cultivating and pushing MAGA. And now MAGA is literally imploding from the inside. And everyone's watching it all at the same time. And what's crazy, and I said it in my video, this morning's video, but I have to say it again because I don't give a damn. But I feel like every single person is vying for Charlie Kirk's ring. Everyone's trying to get their hands on the mother-loving crown. And here's the thing. I've said it before, okay? I've said this before, that clearly they're vying for this spot. They want to be the number one. You know what I'm saying? I am number one. You know what I'm saying? Because Charlie Kirk gone, baby. And you got all these political pundits, even Megyn Kelly, even Nicholas Fuentes in the corner, okay? Him looking like Smeagol in the corner, you know, my precious in the corner. He's even saying stuff with his groper-looking ass, trying to say stuff, trying to be a part of the situation. You know, Candace Owens, like, you know what I mean? They're all trying to do something. And Tim Pool. I forgot about Tim Pool. Forgot about him too, baby. You know what I'm saying? Timothy Pool in the corner as well. On the other side, going ham sandwich on Candace Owens as well. And the only reason why they're going ham sandwich, I mean, yes, she is saying she has some wild claims, and we'll find out if she's right. We'll see if she's right. Okay? But she is number one right now in the conservative sphere. Don't worry. I know some of you have been, well, actually, she's not number one, sir. There's Joe Rogan, and then there's her, or there's somebody else, another podcast, and then all the way down on the list is her. But as far as the conservative sphere, everybody's flooding to Candace Owens. It doesn't matter if you agree with her. It doesn't matter if you like what she's saying. It doesn't matter. You are still tuning in to see what's coming out of that woman's mouth, just to see if she's cracked the code and figured this whole thing out. Is Erica Kirk the one that, I don't know, backstabbed her own husband? Or no? That's the thing that everybody wants to know, right? Is TPUSA the one that foiled a plot to destroy the man that built the organization himself? Or not? We're all still trying to figure that out, right? We all want to know. In TPUSA, I'm seeing a lady just saying this too, and it's true. TPUSA is everywhere. They are everywhere. There are branches everywhere. Some people will sit there and say, are they out here indoctrinating our children with Christianity and the Lord? Some people would look at that way. Some people go, no, they're putting in good values into our young ones, teaching them that Lord is the way. Well, however you see it, there has been a very interesting situation going on as of late. Actually, before we go into the TPUSA or the Toilet Paper USA America, I'm kidding. Turning Point USA stuff. I need to find something here, because there's a moment, because I didn't show you guys the town hall, Erica Kirk's town hall meeting, which was also very fascinating. But there's something here that I just need to show this to you guys, because I found it. Hold on one second. Yeah, just like I said, AmericaFest is still going on right now as we speak. But there is some stuff. There's something here that I'm like, wow, this is real. Just give me a second. I need to find the doggone town hall. Don't tell me they took it down. That'd be ridiculous if they did. There it is. One second. I'm just scrubbing through. In fact, I want you guys to see this as I'm searching, because I want you guys to see something that I just thought was absolutely ridiculous. Now, first off, before we look, is it this one? Nope. I think it's after this gentleman here. Nope. Wrong. It's coming up. There it is. Okay. There is something here that just really irks my soul. Okay. There's a lot in this town hall that really irks my soul. I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about it because there's just been a lot of breaking news stuff. Every 5 seconds, there's something new popping off. In fact, the Piers Morgan interview, I really wanted to cover that and talk to you guys about that as well. The Candace Owens, Piers Morgan interview. I may just do that as a live to just watch with you guys tomorrow. I may do that. I don't know yet, but nonetheless, it is. This town hall is very okay. The Piers Morgan one, whoo, but this one, you know, like they're two different feelings. Something about this is cringeworthy. This interview is extremely cringeworthy. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It feels as if they're trying to vet her for some sort of political position. What position? I don't know. VP, as JD Vance runs for president? I don't know. But one thing is for sure. She failed this town hall meeting. I'm sorry for saying this, but she failed this interview. She did not do as well as maybe some people think she did. Like, oh, you did that, girl. Yes, you did that. No, she did not. And what's crazy is that she already had the questions locked in. This is totally scripted. This is literally made to be a puff piece for Erica Kirk. And she failed this. I'm sorry. I get it. Instantly, she is a widow. How dare you? I get it. But I got to call balls and strikes. And she struck out on this one, guys. I got to be real. This was not her strong suit. But she tried it, though. You know what I'm saying? She tried. Amen. You know, it's like the singer in the choir. You know that church. They got that one singer in the choir that can't sing, not worth a damn. But they still like, oh, my Lord, hallelujah. And then everyone's like, amen. Yes. Jesus. That's kind of what we're getting here. That's the reaction right now. Yes. Amen. Won't he do it? Yes. You know, she failed this one. I'm just going to be real. She failed this one. But there's a part here that is so odd. She is getting hit with a slew of interviews, slew of questions, victims of gun violence, etc. The guy who actually was asking Charlie Kirk had the final conversation with Charlie Kirk before he lost his life, which I still am side-eyeing that dude. I'm still side-eyeing that guy, okay? He's even in this town hall. But I'm telling you right now, she had this already scripted. She had the script. She had the questions. She did not prepare herself well with this. I'm sorry. I'm just calling balls and strikes. But here it is, though. There's a part here that just irks my soul. You have to hear this interview, these questions that came from this woman, and it's driving me nuts. Let's play it.
To this part of our conversation, I want to hand it over to Isabella Reggi.
Oh, Isabel.
Thank you. And Erica, you and your family are in my prayers.
Thank you.
I'm a 26-year-old Christian woman living in New York City.
Hold on, I'm going to stop her right there. What do you think she's going to ask? What do you think she's going to ask? What do you think Isabella is going to ask? Beautiful name, by the way. But do you know what she's going to ask? What do you think she's going to ask? I'm going to wait for like 5 seconds. Put in the chat what you think she is going to ask Erica Kirk in this town hall meeting. Waffles? What? No. What ring is your favorite? Gun rights? Somebody's close. Religion in schools. JD Van. Like, does his hair really feel like silk? Does he really smell like vanilla? What is he? Do you guys share the same eyeliner? What do you use for your eyeliner, sweetie? Is it Revlon? Maybe you were born with it. Is it Maybelline? No. Let me play it. Some of you guys got it. Let me play it.
I would like to stay here long term, but I wonder whether it's sustainable. Do you believe there's a place for women like myself in modern cities who care about having a career, but also marrying a like-minded Christian conservative man?
Well, yeah. So it just depends on where you're looking. You know, if you're on the apps, I don't know if you're on the apps. I don't know if, I'm not going to ask you your personal journey. But what I will say is when I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than going, I don't drink. I find it unproductive.
She is asking her, how can she find a mother-loving man? Huh? What? No disrespect. And I'm sure that they brought her in, Isabella, to ask this question to lighten the mood a little bit. because you knew for a fact that Erica Kirk was going to get slammed with a whole bunch of questions about gun control, about what happened to her husband, etc. Other policies, her opinions about X, Y, and Z. So they're like, hey, we need something to just lighten up the mood a little bit. How do you find a man in New York? Huh? Word? That's a question that we're having right now? I'm not kidding. I was listening to this. I'm washing dishes, and I literally stopped everything, and I was just staring at my phone like, what is actually going on? She's saying basically, how can I find a good Christian man? Do you have any pointers on where I can find a good Christian man like Charlie Kirk? Is this the time? Is it like literally everybody else has been ripping apart everything else she's been saying in this town hall with Barry Weiss? But no one has talked about this, which makes no sense. Why bring this up? I'm in New York and I'm a good Christian woman, and I'm wondering, where can I find a man in New York City, girl? Huh? That's real. You seem to find a good one, right? He was successful. He was very, very rich. How do you find that good, rich Christian man? What the hell is going on? That was a real conversation. She could have sent that in an email, baby. She could have gone on to Charlie Kirk's show with Erica Kirk and asked that question on a whole other time. But they chose the town hall to ask that whack-ass question. No disrespect, I'm sure Isabella trying to find herself a good man. And I say, happy hunting, sweetheart. And I hope you find the best man ever, okay? But at the same time, damn, that is real. That was really real. But moving on, we got to get back into this. But I just think there's a time and place and everything, and that definitely was not the time, and most definitely for damn sure not the place. But that's just me. I digress. I just wanted to pull that up because I've been meaning and I've been wanting to talk to you guys about this stuff like crazy, but there ain't no time because every single time I open up my phone, something big is happening with the Epstein files, or you got Ben Shapiro eating his own face at AmeriFest or AmericaFest. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, damn, he really just eating his whole face. He pulling out the whole Tabasco sauce and everything. He's seasoning this ish as he's eating his whole face in front of everybody, frothing at the mouth, for crying out loud. It is insane. But before we go into the Ben Shapiro stuff, we need to take a look at Erica Kirk's speech too. Now, we're not watching this whole doggone thing. I'm just letting you know we're not watching the whole thing of any of these speeches. They're freaking almost an hour long, y'all. Damn. Diabolical. You don't think they could have gone up and just, thank you guys, welcome. Christ is King, TPUSA. Love Charlie Kirk. I'm out. They could have done that, but they don't. They sit up there for like 45 minutes. Just yapping away. So, here we go. Don't get me wrong. This is an event that I get that pyrotechnics would be here. Okay? So the John Cena, I get it here. The memorial service, not so much. But let's take a look at this, shall we? And I still wonder, what is this? What is AmericaFest? Are they just coming in being like, you're Republican, you're conservative, you love Christ? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Let's hear an awesome Christian band. What is it? How it goes? Or are they just up there listening to the likes of Ben Shapiro talking about what's been going on in our world and how things are so messed up? Dropping F-bombs live on the stage at AmericaFest 2025. I'm just curious. Wet ass P word. Remember that? Remember that? Wet ass P word. Let's play some of this, y'all.
Let's make Turning Point so big that it can survive beyond just the founder. A lot of organizations and groups, as soon as a founder leaves, it just kind of collapses. A lot of my job is not always in the day-to-day details. It's very much vision casting, very much driving success. But we have a great board, and God forbid if something happens, they'll figure it out. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erica.
You heard that, right? He said, I appoint my wife to take over duties of TPUSA if anything happens to me. He said that unless that's AI. Unless that be AI. That's very interesting. Now, some people were like resharing the flyer, showing that his face was on it. And they were like, oh, my word. Why would he be at the AmericaFest? That's so disgusting and gross, right? Well, this is how they're using his presence. He is announcing people's names because he's said these people's names before, right? In the past. He's been on this planet for 31 years, if I'm correct, if I have the year correctly. So again, that's how they were doing it. And again, I feel like they're going to be doing that for a while until they find the new Charlie Kirk, right? But moving on.
Would do a great job.
You are the heartbeat of this future and of this movement. You are living and be
Very, very special speaker. And she has had a heroic last year, and I believe she's the best mom in the world. She is my hero and the love of my life. Join me in welcoming Erica Kirk.
You realize this is all branding, right? It's all branding. Get the right angles. Get the right angles. You know, it's very interesting. It's very interesting, guys. Let's continue. Let's skip ahead a little bit. And you saw that iPad, right? That's really important to hear about the iPad because we're going to be looking at something here in a second. But I'm going to skip ahead, of course. Let me just, just so you know, I'm going to skip ahead because she's like, I'm going off script. She's like, I don't have a script. We're just going to roll with it. I'm like, okay, you do have a script because you have the iPad there. But this, just saying that out loud. Okay.
Seat in the House, you're not, because Charlie's sitting in one of those. So you're in good company up there. But what's also very interesting is that when Charlie and the team first came up with, since I don't have a speech, I might as well just walk around. When Charlie first came up with AmFest, he thought to himself, who would not love to celebrate America? So we're going to name it AmFest. And that's what he did. And I'll never forget, last year, we were blessed to have President Trump come and speak. And afterwards, Charlie turns to me, starts running. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, I'm about to go on Air Force One. I'm in heels trying to chase him to figure out what is going on. He goes, okay, so I got to get on Air Force One. I was like, good for you, baby. He's like, okay, so I need you to close out the AmFest, and I need you to do the staff meeting afterwards. And I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, you're closing out AmFest. And I was like, I am not closing out AmFest. He's like, yes, you are. And I said, what am I supposed to say? And he goes, you'll figure it out. That's why I married you. I was like, you always say that to me whenever we're in a position where we won't, like, there's no script, there's nothing. He's like, baby, you'll figure it out. That's why I married you. So again, here we are. Right. So now we're opening AmFest. But what's so...
I feel like this is the most animated I've seen her, to be really honest. I feel like everything else has been so rigid and like, just stop. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the most real, if that's even a word for this. You know what I'm saying? It just seems a little bit more like she's in her comfort zone a little bit. You feel me? But you realize that this woman has not had time. I mean, you know, who am I to say this? But I'm going to say it anyway, I guess. But has she even had time to really grieve, like properly grieve, like properly grieve? Has she though? Has she had time? I have to beg the question, right? Has she had time to grieve? She's been going ham since he lost his life. You know? But, you know, like I said, I'm sure she is behind closed doors, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? But like I said, who am I to say anything? Because I'm not behind closed doors seeing this, right? Well, let's move on.
Interesting. And what I have learned so much within these past 3 months, again, the enemy, but he will never win. We know we're on the winning side. God is so good. So Charlie loved to share AmFest stats. So that's what we're going to do really quick. He would love for you guys to know that 80% of the attendees have never attended a TPUSA event before. So thank you for everyone who is new. Welcome home. Turning Point USA is your home, and we're loving that you're here. 1/3 of the attendees are students. Yeah? We love our students. 54% are female attendees. Okay. We have...
I guess they're all looking for a man out there, maybe? I'm kidding. But, you know.
40 breakout sessions, 178 sponsors, all 50 states represented. We have 25 countries represented plus Puerto Rico, but I have the list here. Don't worry, guys. Egypt is not on the list. Don't worry about that.
Wait for it. This is crazy.
But, oh, how funny. I say Egypt and my iPad turns on.
Why did she say that out loud? Why did she say that out loud? Do you understand? Oh, my word. Do you realize how Candace Owens is probably eating that up right now? She's dropping everything, running to her phone, literally tripping over her own kids' toys that are all strewn about the living room, running towards her phone, being like, she said what? Just trying to see what she said. She said Egypt, and the iPad turned on. The is going up, man. And you know for a fact, Candace Owens was sitting there going, do I put that in the show? I don't know. Maybe I should. No, I shouldn't. Maybe I should. I don't know. Crazy, right? She said, I said Egypt and my iPad turned on. Why did she say that out loud? Because now every conspiracy theorist is running with that mug, just so you know.
That's fun. Where were we? Okay. So anyways, the past 3 months, I have learned a lot. You learn very quickly who is ready to go to war with you. You learn very quickly who thinks emotionally versus logically when you go through something as horrible that not only myself went through, but every single one of you in here that loved my husband. You find out who stays with you, who leaves. You find out a lot. You find out who's going to pray with you when there's no words left. And you also learn some unexpected things, like the fact that Joy Reid probably needs a really, really good hug. And honestly, I'm here for it if she needs it. I got a good hug for you. Good
Joy
hug for
Reid?
you. I'll even touch.
I got to be honest. Joy Reid is like the least of her problems. I'm going to be real. Okay. I think she's talking about, she got the wrong black woman that she's worried about. I'm sorry. I got to say it. Candace is still going in on her. Let's just be real. She going in. She is still going in. It has not stopped. That whole interview with the with that guy who said that he saw Erica Kirk and Brian Harple walking into a meeting on a military base. I mean, those are some very strong claims. Okay, those are some very, very strong claims to be saying out here. And this is days after she had a meeting, an impromptu meeting with Erica Kirk. But like I said, she said Egypt and the iPad turned on. What in the hell is going on? That isn't weird, is it?
The back of your head.
Oh wait, let me go back
for you. If she needs it, because I got a good hug for you.
She got it. She's saying she's making a JD Vance joke. So I just want to roll that back so you guys can hear that.
You also learned some unexpected things, like the fact that Joy Reid probably needs a really, really good hug. And honestly, I'm here for it if she needs it. I got a good hug for you. Good hug for you. I'll even touch the back of your head.
Don't you dare say that now. I'm just kidding, but real talk. She said she went there. She's going there. Even the back of your head. Like I said before, you know, if that situation, fellas, you know, for a fact, if a girl came up, put her hands, whilst hugging you, whilst in a very, very close embrace, hands in the back of your head, your life would be snatched out your damn body and you know it. Gone. Okay?
But I love you guys. But here's what I've learned the most in these past 3 months is that my husband, he deeply mattered on a multitude of levels, so much so that it proved even more once he was assassinated how much of a peacemaker he was and how much of a coalition builder he was. Because when he was assassinated, we saw infighting, we've seen fractures, we've seen bridges being burned that shouldn't be burnt. We saw a lot on full display. And what I knew as a wife, and I'm the same exact way as him. If you are trying to put up fight or flight mode, we're always fight mode. We don't retreat. Charlie would go wherever he needed to go, and I'm the same exact way. Same exact way. And you'll learn that. You'll learn that about me the more that you get to know me. I know I'm new here, but you'll learn. You'll learn. Him and I were not afraid of that. And that's also why the past several months, several weeks, I honored my husband by completing all of his pre-planned fall media tour hits for his book, any commitment he had. I wanted to honor that for him. I wasn't going on a media tour myself. This was for my husband. Because in our household, our word is our bond. And when you give it, you uphold it. So I honored my husband that way. And so what I'm inspired by is the fact that Charlie and I, again, will go wherever we need to go, but so will you. That's why you guys are here. All of you are here because you know that you're sitting saying, I want to do something. So that's why you came here. You came here to meet other people, to know that you're not in this fight alone. You're here for a purpose. God made you for a purpose. Students, raise your hands. Out of those students, drop your hands. Put your hand up if you're in high school. Okay, all of you. I love it. I love my high schoolers. Charlie had a very special place in his heart for Club America. He's like, how could you not love Club America? All of you, again, going where you need to go. If your Club America is not set up or you want to set one up, step right into your admin's office. College students, raise your hands. Got a lot of them. So where you got to be willing to go is on your campus. That means either starting a chapter, joining a chapter, maybe even one day putting up a tent in the quad. We're not afraid. For churchgoers, hold your pastor accountable for biblical citizenship. Okay? There are so many ways to get involved. That's why Charlie built Turning Point USA the way he did. He didn't care your race, your age, your background. if Charlie listened to every single person that told him, you're too young to make a difference, you don't have enough connections, you're not going to do it, he would have let that noise consume him, and he would not have built the machine that he has built today. So don't you dare let anyone tell you you're too young, you're not smart enough, and you're not connected enough. As long as you're a part of Turning Point USA, we will empower you and give whatever you need to be able to make that come to life. Okay? Charlie wasn't just a speaker, he wasn't just a political thinker, he wasn't just a thought leader. Again, he was a bridge, he was a pathway, he was a connection point to generations. He was a pathway and connection point to communication, to inner politics. And he also looked at a generation that has been mocked, that has been dismissed, that has been discouraged, and told them, you matter, your ideas matter, your decisions matter. And he would say this country is still worth defending and still worth sacrificing for. So, like all of you, this is our turning point as well, especially as we move into 2026. And I want to share with you, off this paper, I'm not going to wing it this one because I want all of you guys to absorb the magnitude of these numbers. The number of student requests to get involved since 9/10, 140,000 plus get involved requests have been submitted since 9/10.
Okay, so obviously, you know, there's been a lot of amazing amount of people that have been moved, have been inspired by right when he lost his life. Let's be real, okay? I mean, shoot, I just saw an article. I'm not kidding. Remember Jenny McCarthy? Remember that girl? Playboy centerfold Jenny McCarthy? I think wasn't she on like a show like what was the show called? Singled Out, I think it was the show on MTV. That Jenny McCarthy, right? She even said that she leaned even more towards God after Charlie Kirk lost his life. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. That is a real deal. Yes. Okay. So I am interacting with you guys. Trust me. All right. But here's the thing. People are reacting to what's going on with the tail. Everyone's looking at the shadow. Look at this. Everyone's looking at the shadow and going, look, she's got a tail. She's got a tail, right? Y'all, it's a shadow. I don't know where that's coming from, but y'all are crazy for this one. Okay. But again, no matter what, they are really doing their best right now to try to gather as many and grab as many of these young kids as they can. But here's the thing. We are living in a time now that is a little bit different. All the young cats now, they don't want the polished look. That's just what I'm seeing. They're not wanting the evangelistic type of vibe anymore. They want raw. They want something that's like, boom, in your face. This is what I think about what's going on in the world. I don't give a F about what you think. This is what my thoughts. This is how I think about everything. They want some straight grimy kind of stuff, and not very, not very Ben Shapiro-y. Let's just be real. We haven't even gotten to Ben Shapiro, which we are going to get to right now. But I'm telling you right now, they do not want that. The young cats out here, they don't want that. And even so, let's not forget the fresh and fits. Those type of guys, the red pill guys that are out here, they're kind of not wanting that either anymore. They just kind of want something that's a little bit more neutral, a little bit, for lack of a better term, a hint of like kind of granola, a little bit granola-y. You see what I'm saying? More grassroots, more real. But they're saying, hey, this is what I think about what's going on in the world. No, we don't need a guy who's wearing a suit all day long for us to believe that what they're saying is the truth. We just need somebody who's willing to say the truth and just be done with it. Not some nerdy crap, not some nerdy conservative that's just throwing out nothing but fact after fact after fact. We need somebody who's going to be really raw and in our face about what's going on and what they think about what's going on in the world. That's what I truly think is happening right now in the conservative sphere. And let's not forget this too. Yes, there were a lot of women there. Obviously, there's been an uptick in women. Why? Why, you may ask? because she a part of it now, baby. Because she's in it. Charlie Kirk lost his life. She is now taken over, and now she is the face of TPUSA. So, of course, there's going to be a lot more women. There's going to be an uptick of women showing up because it's now led and ran by a woman. And no, I'm not being all feminist or anything of that sort. I'm just saying a fact. Instead of it being Charlie Kirk, who would definitely get a lot more young male listeners back in the day, they now have the CEO of Turning Point, a female. So, of course, now more women are going to start listening to the podcasts, to the shows, to showing up to these events and all that. And in fact, what's interesting is even so, the meeting, the town hall thing that she did, maybe that whole question that I just was like kind of roasting on, maybe worked for her. Because you got to remember, there's women out here, and listen, I'm not knocking women. Ladies, you could do whatever the hell you want. Okay, you can have babies, you can run companies, you can do all that stuff at the same damn time. I'm gonna be real, y'all can do some amazing stuff. All right. So before I say anything here, from this point on, from what I'm about to say, it's not me sitting here saying that y'all can't do anything. Let me just make that abundantly clear. Y'all can do whatever the hell you want. Real talk. But what I find very interesting is that, of course, now that you have that question being asked, I feel like that grabbed a few more listeners, a few more women being like, ooh, it is hard to find a good Christian man out here. Let me hear what she has to say. She married a good Christian man, Charlie Kirk. Her answering that question may have inspired more women to step forward. Also, the fact that, or to come and follow TPUSA. Here's the other thing, too. Think about this, too. She's the CEO. She run this biznai. She is a boss, bia. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that turns a lot of interest from the female demographic towards TPUSA as well. Because again, let's not forget, what I find very interesting too is that I'm not sitting here saying that there aren't female conservatives out here that are very prominent and very successful at what they do, or prominent faces out here that are conservative. But I feel like a lot of them, I mean, right now, she hasn't said anything. She has said some things that are questionable as far as religion and faith, but we're going to set that off to the side for a second. So far, she hasn't really said anything that's been too divisive so far. There's things that Charlie Kirk has said that has definitely divided a room. Whether you agree with that, what I just said or not, it has. Right? She's still brand new. And so I think that there's a lot of women that are sitting there going like, you know what? Boom. I want to turn. Yeah, I like her. You know? So it's interesting. Just on that whole piece we just heard, you know, the statistics of more women showing up and all that, right? Yeah, you never know. I mean, lady, let me get the super chat real quick. Yeah, trad wives don't CEO, major contradiction. But here's the thing. True, they don't. But when they are made to take over a position, you know for a fact there's going to be a whole lot of people that are a whole lot of women at least, that may be, you know, that may respect that type of ideology and that type of lifestyle, are looking towards this woman and being like, oh, okay, she was able to do X, Y, and Z, and now she's able to do this too, you know? And I like the way she has to say certain things. I agree. I want to be a trad wife. You see what I'm saying? There are women out there. I'm sorry for saying that, but there are women out there that do just want to stay home and take care of the kids and their families. There's nothing wrong with that. And then there's other women out here that want to be bosses out here and have the kids and have the good husband and have the dope ass house as well. There's nothing wrong with that too. Nothing wrong with that at all. But at the same time, you know for a fact that how she's been positioned in this new position is definitely going to attract a lot more women looking in her direction. And for as far as those that are very Christian, that are very conservative, that really do appreciate those types of values and that type of lifestyle, they are listening to what she's saying, and she's hitting all the major talking points the best way possible. And that's why they're showing up even more right now and checking her stuff out. But hey, lady, thank you so much for the super chat. Again, thank you so very much. Again, there are plenty of people out here that, shoot, there's plenty of dudes that would love to be trad husbands. Okay. You know what I mean? So again, it's just very interesting, the uptick in people, in women tuning into her stuff. Now, let us go over to Ben Shapiro, because we have got to take a listen to this dude. All right. Because he goes scorched earth under this mug.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on. Yeah, I don't know if they use AI or if they're just using old audio with him announcing everything, but I do find that to be fascinating. Let's hear a little bit of Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro.
Actually, before he starts talking, let me slow this down. Let me put this in normal speed, because he talks as if he's running, he's walking. He talks as if he's talking in like 2000 speed, if that makes any sense. So here is Ben Shapiro.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's obviously a massive honor to be here at Turning Point USA. It's even more of an honor to follow Erica Kirk, a heroic figure and a true American patriot. I really believe that the best way to judge a goodness of a man is to see the goodness of his wife and his children. And on that measure, Charlie was unsurpassed. Erica and her children are in all of our hearts. And of course, this is an incredibly bittersweet moment. It's absolutely bitter because of the murder of our friend Charlie Kirk, an irreplaceable human being. I knew Charlie from the time he was 18 years old, and I watched him build himself into one of the most powerful exponents of conservatism in America, one of the most powerful coalition builders in American history. But it's also sweet to see the number of people who continue to remember Charlie each and every day and to carry on his mission. Well, today, I want to talk about the future of the country. And the future of this country, this amazing country, relies on the future of the conservative movement. It relies on what TPUSA defines as its core mission: freedom, free markets, and limited government. And most of all, the future of this country relies on truth.
This is when it starts going off the freaking rails. And I'm going to say this right now, but you're going to hear him talk, and you can tell he's trying his best the best as he can to try to cater to the young listeners and the young attendees of this event. Because without those listeners, he doesn't have a show anymore. Have you noticed people aren't really reacting or watching or taking a look at any Benny Shapiro shows? Let's be real. His viewership has plummeted, to say the least. And this is not because of what Candace Owens has said. When she said, F you and the little horse you rode in on, Ben. Real talk. The hits he used to have hits. He used to have huge numbers. Not so much anymore. People are kind of bored. Like I said, people are bored with the nerdy, here are the stats, here's what's going on, this is what's going on, this is what we're doing, and this is why we have to do what we have to do. And Israel, Israel, Israel. Zionist, Zionist, Zionist stuff. People are now starting to shift away from that, which is wild. It's wild. Because you'd think that a prominent figure like himself, a prominent conservative voice like himself would stay out here and be, you know, a prominent voice. And I'm sure, like I said, he is vying to try to get as many of those voices and those views and those listeners like Nick Fuentes is getting. Like I said, this is, I feel, a full-on jealous outburst with some other things that I understand to a certain extent. Let's continue.
This country relies on truth because victory, true, real, lasting victory, cannot be achieved without truth. Victory without truth is victory for a lie, and that is no victory at all. And unity without truth is no unity. It is merely solidarity in falsehood. You see, we live in a chaotic time, and a time when lots of people are asking lots of legitimate questions about the conservative movement. What ought we to think about the relationship between free markets and traditional virtue? How should we craft a pragmatic foreign policy that spreads our interests and upholds our ideals? What governmental means are appropriate to achieve political ends? All of these questions aren't new, of course. They've been asked for as long as human beings have been talking about politics, thousands of years. And over the course of this conference, you'll hear a lot of opinions on a lot of these questions. I have my own perspectives on them, of course. You can hear them every single day on my show. My fundamental values have been the same for 25 years. Peace through strength on foreign policy. Traditional values on social policy. Free markets with regard to economics. But today, I want to talk about something even more important. How to discern those attempting to speak truth from frauds and grifters.
Here we go.
Because something is new. An informational environment rife with both opportunity and chaos. Opportunity because the legacy media gatekeepers are no longer in charge of what we see and what we hear. And chaos because an anarchic informational environment means we actually have to be smart in how we assess the information and arguments that we hear. Why does that matter? Well, because today the conservative movement is in serious danger. It is in danger, not just from a left that all too frequently excuses everything up to and including murder. The conservative movement is also in danger from charlatans who claim to speak in the name of principle, but actually traffic in conspiracism and dishonesty, who offer nothing but bile and despair, who seek to undermine fundamental principles of conservatism by championing enervation and grievance.
Who's he talking about there?
People are frauds, and they are grifters, and they do not deserve your time. And they are something worse than that, a danger to the only movement capable of stopping the left from wrecking the country wholesale. So today, I want to discuss 5 obligations that people who speak to you on matters of importance have to you. I want to speak to you about our duties. Our first duty is truth. We owe you the truth. That means we should not mislead you. It means we shouldn't hide the ball. We shouldn't be deliberately obscure about what we're telling you. We have an obligation to clarity and to honesty. This means that we actually have to be clear in the language that we use. We should not traffic in generality. We should not say things like, they shot Charlie, without specifying whom we mean by they. The person who allegedly shot Charlie Kirk, and whom all the evidence points at, all of it, is a gay, trans-loving furry. If we are going to target ideological movements, we should talk about the fact that the radical trans movement treats all those who oppose it as existential threats. Or if we're going to talk about the Democratic Party making room for the radical trans movement and echoing its inflammatory rhetoric, well, we should talk about that. Those are specific problems, and they require specific responses. When people say they shot Charlie, however, they are instead trafficking in vagary that results in increased hatred without proposing any effective response. They are fostering despair and rage, and that makes things worse. We must also be honest about what people say and do, regardless of what that means coalitionally. It is the job of politicians to build coalitions. It's the job of those of us who try to shape public opinion to hold politicians to account and to hold them accountable to our values. We must not let fear of audience deter us from telling the truth. We must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth. So, for example, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk
I'm going to pause that right there. It's interesting because you can hear the people booing. You can hear the cheers and jeers both at the same time. You hear people booing. You hear people going, yeah, say it again, brother, you know. But he's going after her. He definitely is. Don't worry. He's going after other people here in this chat, in this speech as well. But again, I mean, what? Okay, some people are going to like, yo, this dude's unhinged for what he did. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how he's going off on this because he goes off even more. But what I think is even more insane, and I get it to a certain extent, because this is the time. This is the only time that he's ever had for TPUSA to speak out, to say anything. So I could see him just, just saying, going scorched earth, being like, if all the people who are out here saying all these crazy conspiracy theories, trying to point blame at Erica Kirk, trying to put blame on TPUSA, I get it. But at the same time, I feel like there's a time and place for everything, maybe, just maybe. But crazy. Play nice in the chat, y'all. Play nice in the chat, everybody.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name.
And now, boom goes the dynamite.
Erica Kirk and TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning. And the people who refuse to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks, and some of them are speaking here, are guilty of cowardice.
Who's he talking about there too? He's going ham, y'all. He is going full on scorched freaking earth. He doesn't care anymore. He's like, F it. But here's the thing. This is a very bad look for MAGA. This is an extremely bad look for MAGA. We're going to talk about this more here in a second. Let me let him cook.
Yes, cowardice. The fact that they have said nothing while Candace has been vomiting all sorts of hideous and conspiratorial nonsense into the public square for years is just as cowardly. Second, because we owe you the truth, we owe you the duty to speak out of principle, not personal feeling. It should not matter whether we despise someone or whether we love someone. The question is what they say and what they do, and whether those things are morally decent or not. On a political level, do they foster freedom, justice, and prosperity? On a personal level, do they treat others as they would wish to be treated? Personal feeling is not a substitute for moral judgment. To take again the Candace Owens situation as an example, friendship with public figures who say or do evil things is not an excuse for silence on the matter. Politics is not the sisterhood of the traveling pants.
I'm sorry. What did he say? Say it again, Ben. What did you say, bro?
Things is not an excuse for silence on the matter. Politics is not the sisterhood of the traveling pants.
He said that.
Politics is about principle. And if you are willing to sacrifice basic truth and simple principle in favor of emotional solidarity, you have betrayed your fundamental duty to the American people.
Oh. He is inexcusable. Oh my
First off,
word.
I should break the omerta here and just be a little bit clear. The notion that people in our industry are close friends, like we all take holiday breaks with each other and go to each other's kids' graduations and stuff, is generally untrue. Some people do that, most of us don't. We see each other at conferences and we talk on the phone and all the rest. We're business colleagues. But even if it were true that other public figures were our best friends, our very best friends, that does not relieve us of our duty to speak out of principle and not to cover up evil or shy away from addressing it out of friendship.
Let me say this. I agree with him on that. I do. Like, if something's wrong, you should not be scared to not speak out. If you feel something's wrong and somebody within your business or, you should be able to say what you need to say. I do agree with that. I do. I just think he basically blew up his whole job. That's what I think. I think he blew his whole job up by doing this whole thing, because now he has created an absolute distance between himself and other members of the conservative podcast influencer movement. I'm telling you right now. But I do agree. Like, if you shouldn't be scared to speak out and say your piece. If you don't agree with somebody, just because they're on your same team doesn't mean that you have to agree with every single thing that they do. See, that's the problem with MAGA. Listen, guys, I'm gonna say it right now. I gotta say it. This is the problem with the MAGA movement in general. It's all one big hive mind. If one person thinks outside the box, they chastise them. They get them in trouble. They throw them under the bus, basically. They all have to speak the same, think the same, damn near look the same. Have you seen some of the MAGA women out here, the hardcore MAGA women? They all kind of look like Melania to a certain extent, except way more lip filler and a whole lot more Botox, right? Some of these women are in their 20s and they look damn near 40 because of all the crap that they're putting in their faces. Let's be real. There should not be a problem with people within whatever groups that they're in saying what maybe other people are thinking too. But here's the thing. My pushback to him is, so why are you chastising Candace Owens for asking questions? What's wrong with her asking mother-loving questions? Why fire her? Because she used to work for Daily Wire. He owns Daily Wire. Why fire her if she had opposing views? Why fire her? Why chastise her here on this platform if you're saying that we should be able to speak what we want to speak, say what we want to say, no matter what bubble politically we are sitting in? I agree with that 100%. If she thinks that TPUSA had something to do with this, that is her right. That is her legal right to say whatever the hell she wants to say on the platform. We can only hope and wish and pray that what she's saying has facts, has evidence, and not just her going, I have a feeling. I have a feeling that this. You know what I'm saying? This is the part where I'm like, no, bro. Like, still, you're saying everybody should be able to say what they, push back, ask the questions, say the things that you need to say. But isn't that what Candace Owens is doing? So why chastise her? Why throw her under the bus? Or anybody else that's sitting there saying, yeah, I believe what she's saying is true. The Egyptian planes, I believe it to be true. And there's a lot of other things that the feds aren't doing that just don't make any sense. But you got to remember, you got two people, Candy O and Tucky, that are not pro-Israel at all. He is, though. Oh, for sure. Ben Shapiro is 110% pro-Israel. Could that be a playing part in this whole situation here? Or not? Because clearly it was a playing part in why he fired Candace Owens from Daily Wire and sued her for everything she was worth. Like I said, go to my video and check that out. She said that, according to her, let me just say that too. According to her, he sued the pants off of her. He sued her into bankruptcy, she says. That is freaking insane. That is insane. So again, all because she was not pro-Israel. Remember that. Just so you know. And you know, and I don't know where you stand, whether you are pro-Israel or not. Like, leave that off to the side. You have that conversation at your dinner table somewhere else. You know what I mean? That's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about the implosion of MAGA and how we're seeing this happening in real time. And this is the worst thing to happen for Trump and the entire organization that he has put together over the past well over 10 years now. If you really think about it, this is absolutely mother-loving insane. Let us continue.
So no, Tucker Carlson, it is not an excuse to go silent on Candace's targeting of TPUSA.
There it is.
Or to mirror her bullshit lines of questioning because you love Candace personally. The same holds true of Megyn Kelly, a person I consider a friend, characterizing Candace as a young mother and thus shying away from condemning her actions or fibbing about them. That is a non-starter. Meghan Markle is a young mother. Ilhan Omar is a young mother. That doesn't matter. And when Megyn said this week, quote, "My goal and my job here is to try to understand, yes, where Candace is coming from on this," and says she sees no purpose in inserting herself, quote, into this on one side, that is a moral and logical absurdity. There is only one moral side here, Erica Kirk's side. You know, the side of the widow with 2 children, whose husband was shot live on camera in front of all of us. Friendship with the person accusing TPUSA of a cover-up of Charlie's murder is no excuse for cowardice.
Real quick, don't forget to hit that like button down below, please and thank you. Please make sure you subscribe. Subscribe. We are almost in the 190s, which is amazing. 190K, that's amazing. Please make sure you subscribe, okay? Please and thank you. Let's continue. You got more.
Third, and relatedly, we have a duty to take responsibility for what we say and do. If we hire awful people, we're responsible for that. I have some experience there, as you might suspect.
Another shot at Candace Owens. Damn. He don't stop. He doesn't stop. He keeps going. Like, he's not done yet. He's not done yet. Okay? Man, is he in his fifis. I feel like he's been holding this in for like years. Ever since Daily Wire, he and Daily Wire fired Candace Owens for the things that she was saying on his platform under the Daily Wire awning. I feel like he's been sitting here festering, waiting for this moment, right?
That means that if we offer a guest for your viewing, we owe it to you to ask the kinds of questions that actually get at the truth. If we agree with the guest, that's fine, but we should own it. So, for example, if you host a Hitler apologist, Nazi-loving, anti-American piece of refuse like Nick Fuentes.
Here we go. Hear that reaction? The boos, the cheers and the jeers all at the same time. Diggity damn. Let's continue. He ain't done yet. And right now, a lot of people are looking at, there's 2 people in the forefront right now. You got Candace Owens and you got Nick Fuentes. You literally have those 2 right now. People are flooding to those 2 channels right now for various reasons. he's attacking him now too. He's attacking Tucker Carlson for bringing the likes of Nick Fuentes onto his platform. That's bad. Okay. That's terrible. I'm not a fan of Nick Fuentes. Surprise, surprise. Okay. I'm not a fan at all. And anybody who doesn't like racists, you're not going to be a fan of him either. Period. Anti-Semitic or racist, bigoted mother lover like Nick Fuentes. You're not going to be a fan of that mother lover. Okay. You won't like what he has to say. So it is interesting that he brought on the Tucker Carlson brought on the likes of Nick Fuentes onto his show, but there was a reason why he did that. That was a move. That was a business move for Tucker Carlson. We'll talk about that in just a little bit.
You know, the Nick Fuentes who said that the vice president of the United States is a, quote, fat gay race traitor married to a Jeet. The person who said that Charlie Kirk was a, quote, retarded idiot. The person who said, and pardon my language here, it's his quote, that he, quote, took Turning Point USA and fucked it, and that's why it's filled with groypers. If you have that person on your show and you proceed to glaze him, you ought to own it.
Okay, now you lost me at glaze him. You lost me at glaze, Ben, because I'm sure he just looked that up before he wrote this speech, and he's like, wait, what is glaze? These kids are all saying glaze. Like, I hate to just be glazing him, but I gotta glaze him real quick, y'all. He's literally saying this. The way he's talking right now is because he knows for a fact he's got the ears of the young kids. And these young groiper-looking ass mother lovers, a lot of them are in that room right now, too. In that room right now as we speak at an AmFest, they are listening to him right now. Why? Because he's going after their savior. Nick Fuentes, especially the white ones. I don't know many people of color that are conservative, MAGA, that are actually listening to Nick Fuentes and actually enjoying what he has to say about people outside of the white race. I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. Nick Fuentes is most definitely a bigoted racist. I got a lot more to say about Nick Fuentes. We'll talk about that here in a second. But he clearly is trying to get those young listeners. It's like I said, his viewership has gone down. That is a fact. Go over and just check out his last year of videos. Just 2025. Just look at it. They've not been as good as they used to be. People aren't really listening to him anymore. People are not interested in hearing this. The young cats aren't interested in listening to his style of podcasting or newscasting. They're not interested in that. They want some kid who's going to be a lot more raw, who's going to keep it more entertaining, maybe make them laugh a little bit and just be raw as hell. And that's exactly what they're getting from Nick Fuentes. Whether you like it or not. That's why people are flooding over to him. And also all the closeted racists that are out here, neo-Nazis that are living out here right under our noses in plain sight that are listening to Nick Fuentes before they go to bed. Yeah, they're all listening to this guy too. And it tells you how much America has not changed that much, which is kind of sad because you'd think that we've pushed forward as a people, but there's still people out here that are in there angry as hell and pissed off about whatever the hell they're pissed off about, that they flood over to Nick Fuentes. Now, let's talk about Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a bigot, anti-Semite, racist. That is very true. You won't see me glazing him here on this show. Not at all. But one thing is very interesting about Nick Fuentes. Sure, he's a racist. He leans very hard on the anti-Semitism rhetoric. He is definitely a bigot. In fact, he hates women, which makes no sense. He might be in the closet. You never know. But one thing is for sure, he can't stick to one thought or one belief for longer than just a few days. I've seen a bunch of his stuff, not like I want to, but there's been other people that I listened to that have been doing reaction videos and just talking about how he's been calling out the likes of Candace Owens and other people as well, even Tucker Carlson, the Trump, JD Vance, Erica Kirk, all this stuff. So of course he just happens to be filing it, flooding the internet as of late, right? And I've noticed that he cannot stay with one belief longer than just a few days. As soon as somebody asks him something, he'll be like, not really. I don't really believe that. I don't really believe that. What? So 2 days ago, you said something completely different. Completely different dude every day. You don't know if he's joking around. You don't know if he's serious. You don't know where this guy is coming from, which is very wild that he's basically pro-white, for lack of a better term. He is Mexican himself. It doesn't make any sense. He hates women, can't stand women. Hate them. Maybe in the closet. But he hates everything else that is not good Christian values and not America first. Make that make sense. Like I said, he's an oxymoron. He moves as swiftly and as quickly as the wind blows. But it's still in the realm. Like I said, it's still in the realm of extreme right wing. Very extreme right wing. But you just can't get a straight, see what I did there? Answer from him, which is frustrating. So you can't really know, what does he think? What is he thinking? What is he feeling? All you can do is go back to the old stuff and things that he has said in the past and just lean on that. Now, here's the thing. Tucker Carlson brought him onto his show, which obviously took Nick Fuentes' show and it bumped up a bunch. But the reason why Tucker Carlson brought him onto his show was a power move. It was a business move, not a power move, but a business move. The business move was this. He knew that Nick Fuentes has a young listening audience. He has a very big young listening audience. Tucker Carlson wanted a piece of that pie. So he brought in the likes of Nick Fuentes to have an interview and a conversation with him. Yes, he's an anti-Semite. Yes, he's a piece of trash. But he knew Tucker Carlson is kind of one too, though, guys. Just so you know. So, of course, he brings this kid in because they both kind of see things in the same light to a certain extent. He brings him on so he can get those younger listeners to start listening to his show, and he gives this young kid an opportunity to say whatever he needs to say. And during that interview, Nick Fuentes goes off on Ben Shapiro because apparently they were starting to talk. And I don't mean in any like romantic way. I mean like business-wise. Ben was really liking what Nick was saying during debates. They were trying to groom him into going over to the likes of what would turn into Daily Wire, what Daily Wire is now, and bring Nick Fuentes onto the platform. But here's the problem. Nick Fuentes is a freaking hardcore anti-Semite. Hardcore. So that was a huge problem with Benny. So Benny turned to him and said, you can go F yourself. Bye. And then they never did any business together, and it caused a rift. But Nick told that story on that interview with Tucker Carlson. So, of course, that kind of pissed off Ben Shapiro, and then all hell broke loose, right? So, again, this is just all very, very interesting. The drama, the information. You got this young kid who's got, or not young kid, but a younger podcaster who's got a young listening audience. Everybody wants that piece as well. Everybody wants the Charlie Kirk listenership as well, the viewership as well. He had a young male listening listeners. He had young male listeners as well. But now that Charlie Kirk lost his life, all those young male listeners are going like, where do we go? Well, I guess we go over to Nick Fuentes. And they started listening to Nick Fuentes. They're not listening to the likes of Ben Shapiro. So that pisses him off. And now he is trying everything he can to try to get these guys. He's trying to move the room. Try to be like, yo, go check out my show. Benny Shapiro. Holla at your boy. Shalom. I'm just saying, this is all what's going on. Like I said, they're all vying for Charlie Kirk's crown. All of them. Even Candace Owens. All of them are. Megyn Kelly's trying to get a little piece of that. Tim Pool's trying to get a little piece of that. Every single one of them is trying. Let's continue on, though.
There is a reason that Charlie Kirk despised Nick Fuentes, and indeed even chided Dinesh D'Souza for debating him. He knew that Nick Fuentes is an evil troll, and that building him up is an act of moral imbecility. And that is precisely what Tucker Carlson did. He built Nick Fuentes up. And he ought to take responsibility for that, just as he ought to take responsibility for glazing pornographer and alleged sex trafficker Andrew Tate, or for mainstreaming fake historian and pseudo-Nazi apologist Daryl Cooper as America's best and most honest popular historian. Hosts are indeed responsible for the guests they choose and the questions they ask those guests.
He's got a good point there. He does. That's one thing that's true. They have the responsibility. If they're going to bring on somebody controversial, they need to make sure that those questions are properly vetted, put together, and have the proper pushback questions, follow-up questions as well, pushing back to whatever the hell they're saying to make sure that the listeners know that they do not stand with whatever the hell is coming out of that mother lover's mouth, whoever that mother lover's mouth is. But if you're just sitting there and you're just letting some, I don't know, a member of the Triple K be on your show and you're not doing any pushback, you're just going, so what is white supremacy like for you? You know what I'm saying? Does it make you happy when you just look at a bowl of milk and it's just plain white? Please tell me, member of the KKK. Like, and you're not sitting there having any type of pushback, that is on you, bruh. That is on you. If you're sitting there laughing it up and chucking it up with the person, instead of having those pushback questions, that is on you. Period. As he said, if you're out here glazing instead of asking pushback questions, you are also the problem. I agree. But that's with every interviewer. That's with every journalist. That's facts, though, guys. That's hard facts. That's why when you bring somebody controversial on, you make sure you have your ish together and anticipate whatever they're going to answer. You already know if they're controversial, you already know the way that they're going to answer something. So have that follow-up question or follow-up questions to make sure that the people that are watching are not sitting there thinking, oh, you're just giving him a platform so he can just spout off all this racist rhetoric. That's irresponsible, and that can make you lose your platform.
Fourth, because we have a duty to truth, we also have a duty to provide you with evidence of the claims that we make. Emotive accusations, conspiracy theories, and just guessing questions, that's lazy and stupid and misleading. None of them are a substitute for truth. None of them are a substitute for evidence. So when Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is retarded. And we are all more retarded for having heard it.
So he just quoted Billy Madison right there. He really just did. He really just did that. The answer is wrong. Everyone in this room is dumber for hearing that answer. You get no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. That's literally the quote. Okay. That's crazy. Oh, see, and he's using the R word too, man. Like I said, I don't understand why people are coming out with the R word. I don't get how they're like trying to bring that back like it's a thing. They're trying to bring the R word and gay back. Like what's going on? Why are they trying to bring it back? It's dumb. It's so dumb.
When Steve Bannon, for example, accuses his foreign policy opponents of loyalty to a foreign country, he's not actually making an argument based in evidence. He's simply maligning people that he disagrees with, which is indeed par for the course from a man who was once a PR flack for Jeffrey Epstein. Check.
Hold on, I'm rolling that back, but damn, yo, shots fired, though. I'm surprised Ben is like Debbie. You just said Ben wouldn't survive this chat. Yeah, he wouldn't, but he wouldn't. I don't think he's going to survive outside these streets. He going in, y'all. Like I said, this is a very, very bad look for MAGA. This is a very, very bad look for MAGA. Do you understand that? All of this is bad. All of it. There's supposed to be unity. You know what I'm saying? But they're not doing that right now. None of them are. They're all just hitting each other like schoolgirls, you know? Yeah, like that. It's getting petty out here in these streets. Damn. Like I said, this is a reflection of what's really going on in MAGA. Look at what's going on in the House. Look at what's going on in the Hill right now as we speak. What's going on in the government? Republicans are starting to step down. People are starting to do the Republicans are about to do a mass exodus. People are starting to step down, resign from their positions. All MAGA. Because of how everything is being held and taken care of right now. It's all falling apart, guys. It's Epstein, Charlie Kirk stuff, the government shutdown. All of it's bad. Yeah, man, the whole thing. Okay, Planet Zeb. What up, Zeb? All of it. Yes, Uber ghetto, bruh. Uber ghetto.
Once a PR flack for Jeffrey Epstein. Check the record. Our duty to provide you evidence means we actually have to do much more than just ask questions. Just asking questions is something my 5-year-old does, and it's really cute when it comes from my 5-year-old. But when grown men and women spend their days just asking questions without, seeking answers, they are lying to you. In fact, they're doing something even worse. They are seeding distrust in the world around you, and they are enervating you in the process. So, for example, if many speakers, including Tucker Carlson and others, get on stage here at TPUSA and claim, without proper evidence, that Jeffrey Epstein was running a Mossad rape ring being covered up by the Trump administration, they are not actually uncovering a conspiracy or effectuating a solution. They are claiming a special provenance to information they won't let you see, which builds their power and leaves you with none. They are also implicating in their speculation actual human beings, good human beings, like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi, and yes, the President of the United States, even if they're too cowardly to say President Trump's name. And that means you won't trust those good people in the future. You haven't gotten smarter, you've just been manipulated.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you can miss me with the whole, oh yeah, these are all good people. Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, and Pam Bondi, and the Trumpster. No, you can miss it with that nonsense. Look at all that we've been seeing so far. You got Dan Bongino saying deuces, right? And I think this is right around the time he did this the day before, I think. Dan Bongino stepped down or said he's resigning, going back to his podcast, going back to the old podcast again. That's what Dan Bongino is about to do. Because he said There are things that he has seen in how the republic is ran of the likes he's never seen before. Very Trumpian. He said, a country cannot run this way. And I cannot stay and watch how this country and this government is ran. He literally said that. He literally said that and said, I'm out. I'm done. So he said all this the day before that, if I'm correct, the day before Dan Bongino announced that he was done, or maybe the day after. Either way, crazy that that's all going on, right? Crazy. Dan Bongino knows some things. And I'm telling you right now, I don't watch Dan Bongino. I've never seen an episode of his show. With all due respect, I have not. He is not somebody where I'm like, ooh, let me see what Danny Boy's doing. I don't watch his show. But as soon as he gets back on that mic, first show is going to be a banger. I'm telling you what, because you know for a fact he's going to talk. Everybody's going to be flooding to that first show when he gets back onto his podcast because he got things to say. It's going to be interesting. But then let's talk about Kash Patel. Good old Kash. Too busy grabbing the booty than actually being the director of the FBI. In my personal opinion. Shapiro, I think he's out of pocket with that. Pam Bondino, and all three of them, by the way, including Trump, so all four of them were all a part of this cover-up with Epstein files. You can't look at the Epstein files situation and say that there's nothing there, but then there's something there. And then do everything you can to try not have that information out there for the general public. So Benny Shapiro wrong with this, y'all. He's wrong on that. You don't have to suck their ass. You really don't. The suckage is done. You don't need to do that. And yet he is still trying to glaze them during his speech here. Those four, at least with the Epstein files, have been doing nothing but covering up and lying to the American people. And we all know that.
When forced to demonstrate their evidence, these same people will often refuse to provide it. They'll claim ignorance. They'll pretend they're outside the system. And they don't have access to actual information. You know, they're just asking questions. But many of these same people have direct pipelines to informational sources. So, for example, if Tucker wants answers to his questions about, say, Jeffrey Epstein, he could call the Vice President of the United States. He's quite close with him. But he won't, because that might undermine the empty speculation. None of this means there aren't actual real conspiracies in the world. Of course there are. But actual conspiracies require actual evidence. Yes, there was a Russiagate conspiracy, and we know the names of the people involved and what they did. We know Hillary Clinton and Fusion GPS and James Comey and Loretta Lynch and Adam Schiff. We know all of those people. Yes, there was a COVID-19 conspiracy. We know that Anthony Fauci worked to shut down alternative solutions from people like Jay Bhattacharya. But when people posit a conspiracy and then provide you no evidence, they are doing you a fundamental disservice, and they are making you stupider in the process.
Giggity damn.
Finally, because it is our job to make the lives of our audience better, right? That's really our job, is to give you more information to make your lives better. We have a duty to propose solutions. That's why we have to talk about our problems in order to find the solutions. That's what politics was supposed to be about, after all, finding solutions to our common problems. If we speak endlessly about the problems we face, without ever positing a solution other than wrecking the system or centralizing power in a cult-like figure, we are not finding solutions. We are merely making problems worse. Just asking questions, positing vague conspiracies, raving like Alex Jones about the secret confederacies that control your life, none of it makes your life better. None of it. In fact, it makes your life markedly worse. That's because if you truly come to believe that nothing in your life is in your control, you can't even take control of your own life. You despair of your ability to change your own circumstances, and then you fail. And you must not fail. Because here is the most fundamental truth of all in the United States. For all of its problems, many of which, a huge number of which, are real and serious, the United States is still the greatest country in the history of planet Earth. We have the greatest Constitution ever devised by man. We have the greatest founding philosophy ever put to paper in the Declaration of Independence. In this country, you can make of yourself what you will. And if there are true obstacles standing in your way, we can all work together to remove them. That, by the way, is the essence of conservatism, that we live in a world created by God with a logic and a rationale, that we as human beings were created in God's image, as it says in the book of Genesis, with creative capacity and the power to choose. And that in a free country of limited government and defined powers, with property rights and equality under law, our destiny is in our hands, and that we all have a duty to make the most of that historic opportunity. Anyone who tries to convince you otherwise is lying to you, and they are making your life worse in the process. Now, that lie may feel good in the moment. It may excuse us from taking the corrective action we can take on a personal level to fix our lives. It might give us someone else to blame for our own failures. But in the end, the lie kills. Not just your future, but the country that we've been given. So, for those of us who talk for a living, that's our job. To discuss America's problems with truth and with evidence, to provide possible solutions, and to encourage Americans to succeed and make great decisions. We who speak to people on a regular basis, who have a microphone and an audience, we have duties to you. The duty to speak the truth. The duty to speak from principle, not personal feeling. The duty to take responsibility for our own actions. The duty to provide you with evidence to do more than conspiracize or just ask questions. And the duty to posit real solutions. And if we fail in those duties, you shouldn't listen to us. But you have duties too. Far more important duties. Duties to God and to yourself and to your families. The duty to do the best for yourself and your family and your country with the abilities that God gave you. The duty to be grateful for this extraordinary country. The duty to celebrate what we've all been given and to fight to preserve it. All of that, every bit of that, begins with truth. We owe you that quest for truth. You owe yourselves that quest for truth. And true victory only comes through truth. Thanks so much. Happy to take a couple questions.
Okay. So again, I think the dude went off. Okay. Went off. He went off on everybody he associates with, knows, all that. He even started calling people the R word. If you're believing any of that stuff, if you're listening, even remotely entertaining that stuff at all. If you're entertaining this, you're an idiot. I'll just say that. He said a much harsher word than that. But he's like, you guys are all dumb. You're dumber for even listening to that stuff. So again, very interesting that he said that. And of course, what say you on that? Do you agree with what he's saying? Or do you think he's completely out his mind? I think he's out his doggone mind. I'm not sitting here saying that everything that he said was wrong. There are some things that I do agree with, but majority of it is him just being completely unhinged and going off. Now, I also do truly think that he's saying those things because he's trying to rally the people who are there listening and going, ooh, look how bombastic he is. I like him. What's his name again? Ben what? Oh, it's Shapiro? Bet. I'm going to listen. You see what I'm saying? I think he was doing everything he can to not only say what he wanted to say to the people, the little 1-2 punch to those people that he's not agreeing with, but he also was using that as an opportunity to get more people listening to his show. And I'm telling you right now, it probably worked because everybody's talking about it. Everybody's reacting to that, to this speech, even myself. It even came over here. And the last time I talked about Ben Shapiro, years ago, I think it was wet ass P word when he was reading Cardi B's WAP lyrics. Seriously, Even so, that video I had to take down because they were like, they blocked it because it was his stuff. And I was roasting the hell out of him because it was the wet ass P word. Again, very interesting and very hilarious because he's reading the lyrics to Cardi B's WAP. Legendary. Legendarily hilarious. Right? At least in my personal opinion, it was. But real quick, I want to show you guys the what Tucker Carlson said, because he reacted to this whole situation as well. And again, I don't blame him for what he says. Is this well said? Is this articulate? I leave that up to you guys. But again, MAGA is imploding. And this is the worst time for all of this to be happening right now. This is the worst time for MAGA for this to happen. This is the moment, I'm sorry, real quick, before I click on this, this is the moment right now that we should be seeing the likes of Tim Pool having another meltdown. The midterms, you know what I mean? This is the moment where he should be losing his mind. Because you know for a fact, he's like, it's ruining all the midterms. Everything's going to be Democratic again. Everything's going to be Democrat. Everything's going to be left again. Damn it. Why did you do that, Ben? You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for Ben to lose, for Tim to lose his doggone mind about this whole situation. Because right now he's like, we're supposed to be worried about this. And we're fighting each other. We're supposed to be friends. We're family, guys. We're family. Because everyone has forgotten the goal, which is to get these youngins and all these other voters out here to turn red. And is that actually happening right now? No, because as you see, they're all starting to think for themselves now. Have you not noticed? Sorry, hitting the horn. Have you not noticed that, y'all? They're all starting to think for themselves. What is going on? They're not part of the hive mind anymore. What the No, MAGA's forever and MAGA's all one. It is nothing but one. MAGA is one. No, it's not. Now we're starting to see that they're all starting to think for themselves. Holy, holy hell. This is going to be a very interesting 3 more years because it's starting to fall apart from the inside out. And the people that are bringing everybody together, bringing them in with their MAGA rhetoric, their right-wing rhetoric, their conservative rhetoric, they're all starting to go, well, maybe not so much that anymore. Here are my opinions about this. And everyone's like, wait, what? What? You're saying something completely different than what Ben Shapiro said on his show. Wait, what? What? Wow, Ben Shapiro, you're saying something different than what Candace Owens is saying over here. What? What? Candy, oh, you saying something different than what Megyn Kelly's saying right now. What? That's what's going on right now. I'm sorry, y'all. You heard somebody just said, Pascal, you're a disappointment. Let me explain something to y'all. Hear what Marjorie Taylor Greene has said in multiple interviews as of late. She basically said it's like high school. Being in that house, being a representative, being around all these people is like mother-loving summer camp where everybody's too busy trying to appease the big head honcho up above than actually being a forward-thinking, independent-thinking individual for themselves and trying to get things moved because they believe in something for themselves, move a bill, etc. No, everyone is in there trying to make career moves, and they're too busy and too scared to think outside the box for themselves. And if you don't notice it, I don't know what to tell you, but it's all a hive freaking mind. I'm not sitting here saying that it's a monolith. I'm just saying that they are all sharing the same thoughts, same rhetoric. And as soon as one person says something that's a little outside the box, they get chastised and ostracized. That's exactly what happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Wait for Thomas Massey to have that happen to him as well. It's going to be happening to him as well. Give it time. He's probably already been ostracized already. But you got to remember, there are people out here that are Republican, and they're just going with the motion because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to find themselves kicked out. They like their job. They like the position that they're in. It gives them some nice little amenities as well as maybe a small tinge of power. But as soon as you go a little bit against the grain, they eat you alive. That's not how politics should be, in my personal opinion. It's all a trend. It's a certain look, it's a certain way of saying things, it's the rhetoric, etc. And right now, we're seeing the opposite. We're seeing something different. The leaders and the influencers in the conservative movement, in the conservative sphere, are starting to branch off. And they're starting to fight each other because they have all different ideologies. And I wouldn't be surprised if these ideologies have always been there while they were doing MAGA for life. Do you realize how insane this is? This is really happening in real time, y'all. Real time. As soon as Charlie Kirk lost his life, which is tragic, suddenly people started breaking off. In fact, that's before. Well, let's go a little bit back. Okay? Let's hit the rewind button even more. As soon as they said those Epstein lists and files don't really exist at all, they started to break off. They started, wait, what? Back to reality. Back to life. You see what I'm saying? Suddenly they're in reality. Whoa, what happened? The hell's this hat? What's going on? The list doesn't exist. F that. I'm going down the path I was going before. F all this crap. That's exactly what we're seeing right now, guys. Whether you like to hear it or not, whether I'm a disappointment. Oh my God, lo siento. I'm a disappointment. Meh. But I'm just telling you facts. Don't blame the messenger when it's happening in real time. I'm not Tucker Carlson. Hell to the no, am I Tucker Carlson? And I for damn show ain't Ben Shapiro. I am none of them mother lovers. But I can read the room. And something's burning. People are starting to walk out. This is crazy. So let's continue.
I just got here and I feel like I missed the first part of the program. Hope I didn't miss anything meaningful. But I just want to say, I don't think I did. No, I'm just kidding. I watched it. I laughed. That kind of bitter, sardonic laugh that emerges from you when like Upside Down World arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way. To hear calls for like deplatforming and denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event, I'm like, what? This is hilarious. Yeah.
I'm sorry. His laugh gets me every time. I'm sorry. It's so weird. His laugh is so weird. But moving on.
This is hilarious. Actually, one of the clips I was listening to myself, thinking as I often do when I hear myself speak, which is never, because I never watch myself, but at these events, they always play like the role of you. And I'm like, that guy is pompous. Woo! Sorry about that. We don't see ourselves clearly. But the prediction that, at some point when Republicans took power again, which I did everything I could, to help, and really felt that was important. I still think, I was right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word platform as a verb, which it's not, it's a noun, don't steal my nouns, deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else? The whole like Red Guard cultural revolution thing that we so hated and feared on the left that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where you could have an actual debate. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life.
He is not wrong with what he's saying here. And it's true. You know, I mean, you know, canceling somebody. Yes, I guess it was, you know, back in the day when people were getting canceled for like old tweets and stuff like that. I mean, it was pretty much more on the left, you know, with that happening, people getting canceled and whatnot. But the cancellations did actually happen. So it must have been a united front. But no matter what, they have basically made that to be a leftist thing. And then you got Ben Shapiro going up there and basically saying, cancel these mother lovers for having all these people on their platforms. When in actuality, if this is the rhetoric that the right is saying right now, has been saying for the longest time, that, you know, cancel culture is a leftist thing. So he's doing exactly what what a leftist would do, which is faux pas. No, you shouldn't be doing that. So again, Tucker Carlson has a point here. Why is he saying deplatform? Cancel these mother lovers for having these people on their shows. It's just an interesting, it's just an observation. You know what I mean? You know? But okay.
And I think that he died for it. I really believe that. And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here, which he asked me to do earlier this year, this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point, I would assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated and deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly and in detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist. You shouldn't immediately go to motive. By the way, shut up racist is the #1 reason I voted for Donald Trump. And because I'm just sick of it. I mean, first of all, if I was a racist, if I was a bigot, I would just say so. Okay, it's America. You're allowed to be whatever kind of person you want. I'm not. I'm sincerely opposed, have always been, and will always be. But the style of debate where you prevent the other side from talking or being heard because you immediately go to motive, well, I wonder why you're asking that question. I wonder why. Why are you asking that question? I detect in the question a certain evil in your soul. And everyone listening should know that listening to you implicates them, and that they someday may be asked to denounce you, and that friendship is not a reason to defend someone. Love is no defense. I kind of thought we'd reached the end of that. And as far as I'm concerned, we have. And I'm not going to play by those rules. I'm not going to engage in that. If someone doesn't like what I think, fine with me, as long as I get to express it. That's my view.
Okay. Real quick. I got to say it. If this man was still alive and they were going to do a biopic of Tucker Carlson, which will never happen, but if they were, Matthew Perry should have been top on the list. I just need to make that abundantly clear. And why does he look like a high school student on his way to a debate? Why is he dressed like a private school kid on his way to a choir performance? Nobody sees that. Why is he dressed like a private school teacher chaperoning for the prom? I'm really sorry, but I have to. Okay? Yeah, Matthew Perry like Chandler. Yeah. Why? Why does he look like he's about to audition for Dead Poets Society? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's this. It's the khakis. It's the khakis. It's the khakis for me. Okay, guys. It's the khakis. Hold on, can I find it? And then what's up with the belt? Okay, never mind. We're not gonna ask questions. But there's a shot of him from right there. Bang. Like, he makes money, though. I get it. He probably is, frugal, very comfortable with what he wears. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he could have come in with a power suit on. You know what I'm saying? Looking just, tailored and svelte. But that's not Tucker Carlson now, is it? Like, they're about to do a remake of Dead Poet Society, and he's auditioning for Robin Williams' part. My Princess of New England. What is the phrase? Good night, my such and such, my princes of New England, or something like that, right? Yeah, it's old school preppy. It's hella preppy. Anyway. My sweet princes of New England? And that's it? I thought he said something else. I thought it was like my sweet princes of New England, my blah, 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 blah. Like good night, my sweet princes of England, and then something else. Somebody will get it. Somebody will Google it and put it in the chat or something. But anyway, very interesting. A very interesting... This has been a very interesting fest, okay? AmericaFest, okay? This is a full-on foreshadowing of what's going on within the movement right now, just so you guys know. Tucker is straight out of Huckleberry Finn. Oh, stop it. Going over there like, we got some sassafras right here, man. We're gonna go down to the Piggly-Wink and get a nice little jar of moonshine. I must say, this is hot. It's hot as hell out here, ma'am. Let's go and sit out on the front porch and get a glass of lemonade for me. Won't you do that for me, ma'am? Yes, thank you, sweetheart. Won't you do that for me? The sweltering heat, I said. Why is it going to start sounding like Foghorn Leghorn? But you know what I mean? Okay, it's very old school to me. But here's the thing, guys. That's cold, tall glass of iced tea, baby. That'd be weird. But I can see him doing that. He just needs a very thick Southern accent, Well, miss, you look mighty, mighty fine, ma'am. He's holding his hat like, well, you look mighty, mighty fine, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. It is a sweltering heat, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got some lemonade or a nice tall glass of cold iced tea for me. Mm-hmm. I'm done. But this is a foreshadowing of what we are going to be seeing here in the next couple months. I have a feeling. Here's the other thing. They need to wrangle in Candace Owens. Why? Because if they don't wrangle in Candace Owens, I think things are going to get a whole lot worse. The divide is going to keep on getting deeper and deeper and deeper out here. And we're already seeing it in the House. We're already seeing it in the government. There's already splits happening right now as we speak. People are leaving positions that you never thought would ever leave, ever. That are all leaving and stepping down, resigning because they do not like how things are being handled. There are impeachments coming up, y'all. Impeachments on the brink right now. They are just sitting idly by until the moment when they can strike. They are already signing up and making the paperwork ready to go. So all they have to do is, as soon as Pam Bondi explains why 119 pages so far have been redacted and the reasons don't suffice, they can file that impeachment paperwork as soon as she drops her excuses. I'm just letting you know it's going to happen. I know somebody just said, never going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. That is most definitely going to happen. Now, I want you to know this, because this is something else. I just want to make sure you guys know this. This is a little bit of an update in the Epstein file stuff. Real quick, okay? I said the Epstein files, going harder than I don't know. Hotter than a hole in church, ma'am. Here's something else. I talked about this in my most recent video where Michael Jackson is in all these photos with Epstein, right? It's a full-on fugazi, guys. It's a red herring. It is a distraction. That's what they are trying to do while they push out all this crap onto us. And they're like, look, don't you see? That's Chris Tucker. You remember him, the weed-smoking guy. Man, you got knocked out, right? Chris Tucker. Oh, look, you got Mick Jagger with his lips and everything. Look at it, Walter Cronkite. Look at all these mother-loving faces all throughout this. They're all corrupt. They're all nasty mother lovers, and they Hollywood, right? I believe it's all out there as a fugazi. They're trying to throw people off. Why? I said it in the video, but I'm showing it to you right now. A photo of Trump that was originally put out there as part of the big release. That sounds weird. But the big release of these files, at least the first wave of files, has been deleted, and other pieces of information has been deleted from what was originally given out to the general public, y'all. You got to understand, this is very bad. This is very, 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 very bad. You have a photo of him, and they take that out. Then other files, more than a dozen of them, mysteriously disappear after they've already released them. Do you realize how corrupt and messed up that is? Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that, y'all? Why are they doing that? You see why MAGA is starting to fall apart? Because they're doing things in real time, and everyone's seeing it. They're seeing the cover-up in real time, y'all. In real mother-loving time. This is not good. Let's take a look at this. Just so you guys know. Photo of Trump and more than a dozen other Epstein files mysteriously disappear after they were released. Why would you do that? Why would you be that sloppy Joe on the mother-loving release of these files? Wouldn't you comb through those things meticulously and make sure you quadruple check to make sure everything is on point? You had no problem blacking out 119 pages. You had to have gone through that without a problem. But then you take out photos and files that were already released. Do you realize how bad that looks optically? What do you think is going to happen when they all come back from their vacation, from their holidays? What do you think is going to happen? Heads are about to roll, y'all. People are about to get impeached. People are about to get fired, period. This is happening in real time. More than a dozen files from the DOJ, from their Epstein files, have mysteriously vanished, including a photograph showing President Donald J. Trump. The disappearance happened less than a day after the files were posted, with no explanation from the government and no notice to the public. They just walked in there real quiet like, real sneaky like, and they said, okay, EX779 and EX4578, we got to get rid of that, and 12 other files as well. Just go ahead and get it all out. While everybody's already been combing through that, y'all. People have those things in their possession right now. The missing files were available Friday, contained a photo of Trump alongside Melania, Jeffrey Epstein, and Epstein's longtime associate, Ghislaine Jersey. Other images included paintings depicting women in their birthday suits, and one showing a series of photographs along a credenza and in drawers. We may have seen some of that yesterday. The Justice Department did not say why the files were removed or whether their disappearance was intentional. This ain't a glitch, baby. This is not a glitch. They said go in there and take that stuff out right now. The DOJ has not responded to a request for comment. An automatic reply said the Trump administration is the most transparent in history. Stop! Stop it already. Stop lying. I'm going to repeat that again. The Trump administration is the most transparent in history by releasing the thousands of pages and documents, cooperating with the House Oversight Committee's subpoena request. President Trump recently calling for further investigation into Epstein's Democrat friends. The Trump administration has done more for the victims than Democrats ever have. It's all lies. They ain't done yet. And while the President Trump, is delivering on his promises that he did not want to do, Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries and Stacey Plaskett have yet to explain why they were soliciting money and meetings from Epstein after he was convicted, or after he was a convicted SO. The American people deserve answers. Do you see the red herring? Now, don't get me wrong. Let me make this abundantly clear. Hakeem Jeffries and Stacey Plaskett almost definitely need to explain that stuff for show. But if you notice, let's throw all these Democrats under the bus. Let's throw out a little bit of Michael Jackson, some famous faces, a little bit of Mick Jagger, and all these other people. Let's just throw all them out there as quickly as we can. But yeah, they need to be looked into. They need to be answering questions. Do you realize how disgusting and wrong and messed up this whole thing is? Lies being done in real time, and they can't find any way to hide the fact that they are lying. You realize that, right? The deflection is ridiculous. And here's the thing. You got to be out your damn mind if you're sitting here going, well, you know, that's my president. He ain't done nothing wrong. He didn't do nothing. There ain't no cover up. What are you talking about? Then you ain't reading the room, baby. You ain't seeing what's going on here. This is bad. This is terrible. Online, the unexplained missing files fueled speculation about what was taken down and why the public was not notified, compounding long-standing intrigue about Epstein and the powerful figures who surrounded him. You know what? Pam Bondi about to get fired. That's it. Pam Bondi about to get fired. She about to get fired so hard. Because no one's going to stand for this. And if she doesn't get impeached, I will be shook. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee pointed to the missing image featuring a Trump photo in a post on X, writing, "What else is being covered up? We need transparency for the American public." The episode deepened concerns that had already emerged from the Justice Department's much anticipated document release. The tens of thousands of pages were made public, offered little new insight into Epstein's crimes or the prosecutorial decisions that allowed him to avoid serious federal charges for years, while omitting some of the most closely watched materials, including FBI interviews with victims and internal DOJ memos on charging decisions. Some of the most consequential records expected about Epstein were nowhere to be found in the DOJ's initial disclosures, which spans tens of thousands of pages. Missing are FBI interviews with survivors and internal Justice Department memos examining charging decisions, records that could have helped examine or explain how investigators viewed the case and why Epstein was allowed in 2008 to plead guilty to a relatively minor state-level prostitution charge. The records required to be released under a recent law passed by Congress and signed by the president hardly reference several powerful figures long associated with Epstein, including Britain's former Prince Andy, renewing questions about who is scrutinized, who is not, and how much the disclosures truly advance public accountability. They missed a period there. Moving on, among the fresh nuggets, insight into the Justice Department decision to abandon an investigation into Epstein in the 2000s, which enabled him to plead guilty to a state-level charge, and a previously unseen 1996 complaint accusing Epstein of stealing photographs of littles. And of course, we already know that these images have been heavy on, or what the files have been provided that we've seen so far are just heavy images of his home in New York City, in the Virgin Islands, and some photos of celebrities and politicians. That's all we've seen so far. And, you know, like spicy books and toys of that kind, of that nature, and all that stuff. But we have not seen really anything else that's going to expose what he was doing with who. And what's very interesting about this, because I didn't know this part, the insight into the Justice Department's decision to abandon an investigation into Epstein in the 2000s, which enabled him to plead guilty to a state-level charge, and a previously unseen 1996 complaint accusing him of stealing photographs of littles. This part right here, this is the part that I'm interested in as well. Why would they not be showing that information? Now, they might be showing that information very soon, but that stuff could be heavily redacted. Or it is the redaction that we see of the 119 pages, those big black blocks that we've been seeing. That could very well be it too. We don't know. They're big black blocks. We don't know nothing. So again, it's very interesting that, you know, what led them to the decision to say, nah, we're not paying attention to that. Let's just give him a lesser charge. Let's not go after him federally. Let's charge him statewise. Let's do a state level charge instead of him actually looking at some serious time. At some serious charges federally. Now, we'll just give him the state level stuff. Why? Because he had his hand in somebody's pocket. That's why. He had his hand in somebody's pocket. Whose pocket was that? He had control of something. Whether that is Democrat or Republican, that needs to be unearthed. That needs to be exposed. Right, the guy just said Acosta, the U.S. attorney, at the time was told Epstein was untouchable. It sounds like he is. Or sounds like he was. Sorry, he gone. He clearly touched himself, if you get what I'm saying. And not in that way, but in that other way. Because, you know, he was found, if you get what I'm saying. So that's very interesting, guys. Again, footage gone. Files gone. Why? And now I want to know if anybody actually has those files that are missing right now. Please, somebody do a video on it. I just want to know what that stuff is, because there's so many files. Like, who has time to sit down? Like, you need time to sit down and go through everything. But you know for a fact, there's a lot of people that spend all day and all night going through everything. So as soon as they saw something missing, they're talking about it. They're talking about it for sure. So again, all bad stuff. But let me get some into these super chats here really quick. Okay? Let's rock and roll. Thank you so much, Tipsy. I really do appreciate it. Spending quality time with family watching true crime things. We saw you on season 1, episode 1 of Murder 360. Thanks for all you do, and happy holidays to everyone. Hold on, Tipsy. Whoa, wait a second. Season 1, episode 2 of Murder 360. What? I was on there? That's news to me. I know where I'm at. But what was the case? If you're still in the chat, you're still in the chat. What was the case that I was talking about? I know that sounds ridiculous, but they probably took like a clip of me from commentary and whatnot. You were on a show on Paramount. I'm going to write that down because I definitely want to see that for myself too. That sounds... what was the conversation about? Or what was the case? What was season 1, episode 2 about, Tipsy? Let me know, because I'd like to know. So Murder 360. Paramount. That's insane. But thank you so much for letting me know. Like I said, it was crazy. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I forgot about that. Okay. Don't worry. It's not like that they stole that from me. Just so you know, they didn't steal anything. A long time ago, they hit me up asking me, and they didn't say what the name of the show was. They just said, yo, we really like your interview with Sean Paul Schulte. Do you have time, or can we get the rights to a couple clips for the show? So I was like, okay, cool. Go ahead. That's fine. You know what I mean? So then they took it, and now it's on Paramount. But that's dope, though. I'm glad to hear that it went somewhere. I was wondering where it went. They never sent me anything. They never said, hey, episode's out. Go check it out or anything. They didn't say anything. They just said, hey, we're a production company. There's some clips that we'd like to use in our show. And I was like, okay, go ahead. Use them, right? It's funny because now I'm getting more and more people. I'm running into people that either I know or that I'm just randomly running into them, like at places, at events and stuff. And now I'm getting recognized for things like on Netflix and all these true crime series and stuff like that. So it's just funny how they're like, yo, man, I ran into one of the guys. Remember when we hung out at the, I was trying out the IRL for the first time, and we were in that really, really, really dark space, that bar. And I was just sitting down and just talking with you guys, and I was having trouble with the focus and everything. But anyway, one of the guys that walked up and he was like, this is the hardest working guy I know. As soon as I said bye to you guys, I got up and I'm about to walk out, and he's like, yo, man, I just saw you on Netflix, bro. He's like, I swear, I kid you not, homie. Like, I just saw you on Netflix. It was wild, man. That's some wild stuff, man. You out here, man. You out here. I'm like, yeah, I'm out here. I'm just putting in the work, So I get that a lot. I'm getting that a lot lately because of, these true crime cases that I'm talking about. They might see me on Court TV or News Nation, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. People are watching stuff. Especially it's like, oh, you watch true crime? Some people you just don't know. You're like, oh, damn, I didn't know you were into true crime. Or they're watching like Gabby Petito's case, like from years ago, one of like the first specials that they did. And they're watching that for the first time. They're like, damn, I didn't know you were in this whole, you were doing that. It's like, yeah, man, just been talking, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But moving on. Thank you, Debbie. And of course, thank you so much for being an amazing mod, of course. And shout out to all you mods out here. Thank you so much for you guys holding it down and being just incredible and taking care of this, the family chat, because it can get messy. But thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome to the family, all 5 of you. All I ask for you guys to do is, of course, give Debbie some love by putting some purple heart and emojis in the chat. But I also ask for you guys to pay it forward, okay? This is the time of giving. So please, just give back. Do something kind for somebody, you know? Open the door for somebody. Tell somebody happy holidays. Even if you don't feel like it, they might really appreciate it. And smile when you say it, okay? Simple things. Moving on. Hey, lady, thank you so much for the love. Hi, Pascal. TPUSA has branches in public schools. I know I talked about this a little bit earlier in the beginning of the show, but yes, they have branches in public schools throughout the country called Club America. And we heard them talk about that during the AmericaFest speeches that we listened to, like a cult indoctrinating the youth. Some would say that. Some would definitely say that. But it's interesting. Because it's not indoctrinating if they're giving you the Lord, Christian values, but it's indoctrinating if you're saying, hey guys, it's okay to be gay. You know what I mean? It's interesting. Just interesting. But we'll see how that all transpires. Moving on. Nurse for God, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it, Pascal. You're always correct on all your thoughts and questions. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you. You're on top of all the current events. Keep it up. We all listen to you. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. I love what I do. I really, really do. I just want to make millions of dollars. I'm just kidding. Who doesn't want to make millions of dollars? I just don't want to do it lying or making things up for the sake of you. Like, I got better things to do. And my conscience could not handle that, you know? And that's not a dig at anybody. Hold on. That's not a dig. I'm just saying there's plenty of people out here that will just say whatever to make a buck. I don't have time, you know? But damn, would it be great to do what I do what I love, speaking nothing but the truth and making crap tons of money, you know? I got that Aston Martin. That's the dream. That's the dream car. I want the James Bond car. It's lingering in the back of my mind. You know, one day buying that mother lover. You know, I got dreams too. I got dreams. I got dreams, man. And we all got to have a dream. Michelle, thank you so much for the love. Don't forget the uplifting music is branding too. Yes, it is. Please welcome Erica Kirk. And it's very like spiritual. This is the only thing I could say. But you got a point there. Miss Ruth, thank you so much for being a member for the past 4 months. Sad emojis. Yeah. There's a lot to be happy about, though. Angel of Disguise, thank you so much for the love. Love you, Show Pascal. Thank you. Love you, Show Pascal. Certainly very interesting. Love you, Pascal Show, I think you're saying. Certainly very, very interesting. Yes, all of it has been. The fact that they're literally starting to devour each other is very interesting. Mimi, thank you so much for the super stickers. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey, lady, 747.3. Thank you. I said 747.3. 7473. That's what I meant. 747.3. Thank you so much. The spouse is always the suspect. It's wild. I'm still waiting to see the connection. You know, if you're pertaining to Erica Kirk being connected to all this stuff, I am still waiting for proof of that connection. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of clutching the pearls, but I've yet to see proof of that. And I'm still waiting for that. Personally, if there is proof of that, show me the facts. That's all I'm asking. You know, things are just getting really dirty, really grimy out here too. You know, love? Black Skate. Thank you so much for the love. Of course, there are conspiracies out there, just none involving said chosen nation. Now denounce whom I say, Ben Shapiro. Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Yes, there are a lot. But like I said, there's been a lot of theories and conspiracies revolving around so many different foreign and domestic entities. So what is it? You know, is it all fake news or is it real? That's the one thing I think we all want to know, right? And then, you know, Ben Shapiro was kind of out of pocket on a lot of what he said. And it's definitely different from what we hear from the right normally, right? Sharanda, thank you so much for the love. Charlie didn't want Ben there, so why did Erica have him speak? Yeah, I heard something along the lines like allegedly Charlie Kirk didn't like Ben Shapiro. I don't know. I honestly think Erica Kirk, if that's the case, let me finish the question here or the sentence, your super chat here, and I'm going to say something here really quick. She said she wanted to stand for what her husband did. Shaking my head. Very interesting, right? Because according to those text messages, if it is any way, shape, or form remotely true, he was stepping away from pro-Israel ideologies and rhetoric. He was getting tired of them having control of what he could and could not do, at least in those text messages, right? He's like, I'm done. I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore. I can't even bring my friend Tucker Carlson on the show and talk about things that are going on in the world because my Jewish donors have a problem with that. Now, here's the thing. He gone now. Charlie Kirk is gone. The money still needs to be made. And so these text messages that Erica Kirk at first said didn't exist and were not real, they are real. According to Candace Owens, they were confirmed that they were real. What I find interesting is, if that's the case, that Charlie would not have the likes of Ben Shapiro on that platform, it'd be very interesting on why Erica Kirk actually decided to do that. And I feel like that was a money move. Remember, Ben Shapiro, definitely pro-Israel. Like I said, don't care where you stand as far as pro-Israel or not. I'm just stating facts. One thing is a fact is that Ben Shapiro is hardcore pro-Israel. They bring him on the show or onto the event. By the way, he was the second one to speak. Right after Erica Kirk, he speaks next. He is very pro-Israel. There might be a situation where she was doing that for a money move. Apparently, they say that there really was $150 million on the line before Charlie Kirk even lost his life from the likes of Israel, or some sort of some sort of entity from Israel. Some Israel entity was willing to drop $150 million on TPUSA before Charlie Kirk lost his life. He, according to those text messages, was sitting there going, man, I'm done. I'm out. You're not going to let me bring on my boy Tucky? F this. I'm done. And then he lost his life. And then all of a sudden, Erica Kirk goes, hey, Ben, come on over here. Because I know you are pro-Israel. Horde. And we're trying to scoop up that bag. Interesting series of events, don't you think? Very interesting. Happy days. Thank you so much for being a member. I appreciate it. I want a third party to raise. I want a third party to rise. So why would I want these people to get along? Good point. Very good point. I don't know. I honestly just want to see people start thinking for themselves. That's the only thing I give an F about. Because everything has been so, and even on the left too. This is not just on the right with MAGA. Even if if you're hardcore left or whatever, it's always like within the confines of whatever. You gotta say certain things. You gotta act a certain way. You gotta it's rhetoric. It's vibe. It's blah. It's the same on the side of MAGA. It's the same on the left side. The only difference is that we don't have the left does not have some sort of acronym that we can use to say, oh, the left has lambda or something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just making something up, but you get what I'm saying, right? But it's all the same thing. You see a shirt, you're like, oh, leftist. You see a hat, oh, that's hardcore. That's hardcore right. You see how they dress, they're Republican. You see how they don't dress, they're leftist. It's just a very interesting thing. It's unfortunate. And for me, like I said, I feel like we should be going back to the times where we start thinking for ourselves and we vote for the person that we think fits what we need for the country. Not because, oh, well, I'm left, so therefore it should only be leftists, Democrats being voted in. Well, what if the Democrat sucks balls, but the Republican is coming out guns blazing with all kinds of great stuff that he wants to change in the country? Why can't somebody on the left vote for somebody on the right? You see what I'm saying? Stop pigeonholing yourself under one party. Think for yourself. And that's what I keep on saying. Think for your doggone self. Black Skate, you have two, so I'm going to read them real quick. So Candace is just a symptom. The divide was happening before his demise, CK's demise. Megyn Kelly said it best. The Israel first versus America first. Yes, it was starting way before election. It was starting way before election, and then things went off the rails. Even the Epstein cover-up is likely related to Israel. Maybe. You never know. Dropsite News just dropped a new story on it. Yeah, you never know. You never know. Thank you so much for that update. I'm telling you right now, you never know. But that's the sad part. They're doing too much cover-up. They're hiding way too much crap. And they might as well just be as transparent as possible and quit lying, quit backtracking in real time. Quit doing this. What we're seeing right here, quit backtracking in real mother-loving time. It's making everybody look like a fool, straight up. It's making America look like a fool now, too. That's not good. But let's move on. Brian, thank you so much for the love. You rocking tonight, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It is Saturday night. I'm feeling kind of good, so great. The Bella Stella, thank you so much for being a member for for a year. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Daily Wire Shapiro donated $1 million to TPUSA. Oh, wow. Then suddenly got to be a speaker. Interesting, right? That's a new piece of information I did not know about. But yeah, so he paid for his chance to speak at that event. Right after Erica Kirk, by the way. Interesting, don't you think? Again, hardcore pro-Israel. Ben Shapiro. And then after that, you had an anti-Israel, anti-Zionism Tucker Carlson go up there and speak. Man, that's wild. That's wild. He paid a lot of money for those 30 minutes, Ben Shapiro. That's a lot of money just to go up there and speak. He paid to speak. Yeah, Gemini. That's basically what he did. But that's an opportunity. Like I said, it's an opportunity to get those people who are like, ooh, he wild. I like him. Where do I find him? And then they start listening to him too. Again, if you go and look back at his viewership lately, his numbers have been pretty not great. Not great. So again, it's an opportunity for him to grow. So he dropped maybe his dad dropped $1 million. I don't know. He makes his own money too. Ben Shapiro makes his own money. But his pops is involved in there too. Let's keep it a bean. All right. But he definitely, yeah, Deborah, he paid to play, which is wild. We'll see if it paid off. And Nurse Forgot, thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much. Okay. I've been listening to you for a long time. You could fix this mess or this whole mess. Well, first off, thank you. I don't know if I could fix it, but I could call out the BS that we're seeing. I mean, that's what I'm doing on the show, which, by the way, I need to say, I really appreciate you guys just even tuning in and watching this stuff, because I know lately it's well, for a long time, for a while, it's been true crime. And it still will be. I'm still talking about the true crime cases when there's true crime cases to talk about. But I do appreciate you guys willing to hear me talk about other things that are going on in the world. That's the one thing I got really nervous about is like, will people even tune in and hear what I got to say about how the world's popping off, at least in my personal opinion? And you guys have been sticking around. And I really, really, in fact, more people have been tuning in, which I really, really do appreciate. Thank you so, so very much. But as far as Nurse for God, as far as fixing this mess, all I can say is I think everybody needs to separate and just do their own thing for a while. But like I said, Charlie Kirk will be a hot topic until it's not. It'll be a hot topic, and then people will start getting tired of it. Candace Owens will not be able to do this for a whole year. She might be able to sprinkle in more information over time, but at some point, everyone's going to start getting, sorry to say this, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but they're going to start getting Charlie Kirk fatigue until we actually see proof of things that are going on here. Or things will rev right back up when he actually goes into trial. Actual trial. You see what I'm saying? It's like this with every case that we've talked about. It happens all the time. You talk about it when it's hot and fresh and everyone's like, oh my gosh, he did what? And then the trial happens a year, 2 years later. You do a recap and then you start watching the trial. So there will be an uptick for sure. But at some point right now, because it's hot, it's a topic everybody's talking about and everyone's obsessed about it, understandably. But eventually it's going to die down. And Candace Owens is going to have to figure out what she's going to talk about unless she shows up with smoking gun evidence. Not just some guy who says, I'm 90%, 95, nope, 99% sure it was Brian Harpool and Erica Kirk. Those are some very interesting claims to say with no proof behind it. Just saying. But I think when it comes to everything, everyone needs to chill the F out, calm the F down, and keep going business as usual. But if this is an opportunity for them to branch out and start thinking for themselves instead of just being a broken record for the MAGA movement, then by all means, latch yourself off, detach yourself from the matrix, which is MAGA, and start venturing out into the world for yourself and start speaking wirelessly on the opinions, on the things that are going on in the world. That's what I would say. There are plenty of places there are plenty of people out here that want to hear what you have to say. There are plenty of ears out here in this world for everyone to be heard. I truly believe that. I feel like this whole thing is one big fat ass fight to get to the top of the mountain where Charlie Kirk was sitting at. It's just really sad that this is going the way it's going because now it's name calling. Now, but you see, that's the energy that MAGA has that I've seen. What Marjorie Taylor Greene was explaining, that it's like high school. So now you're seeing the bullying. Now you're seeing the name calling. Now you're seeing the poking. Instead of them actually coming together and just having a discussion or just letting that person have that lane and keep doing what you do, baby. That's what should be happening, but they're not doing that because they're angry, because they see one person getting fat off their views, getting crazy money, and maybe their views are not being as big as theirs. Comparison is a thief of joy. Just so you know. And some of these mother lovers either need to shut up or put their focus towards something else. That's just what I think. Jasmine, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate the super sticker. Thank you so, so very much. But guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. We had to have this conversation. It was much needed. Much needed. We'll see what happens, but MAGA needs to calm down. They really do. And they need to find the love again. They really do. They need to find the thing that made them fall in love with MAGA in the first place. I know that sounds like a couples therapy suggestion, but they really do. Because the way they're acting right now is not going to help their situation. But I also want to say this too, real quick. I truly believe that they know that the ship is sinking. That's the other thing too. MAGA's falling apart. It will be America first. That will be the new movement. That's what we're seeing right now. MAGA is starting to fall apart. When we have lies being thrown at us every day in real time, this is not the MAGA that a lot of people voted for. This is very bad. So they're all seeing this sinking ship. They saw it when they started lying about the Epstein files months ago. You realize that, right? So they're all starting to scramble and they're all losing their minds and they're scared. And they don't know what to do because they're used to saying MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. MAGA's America, MAGA's amazing, and Trump is America, and Trump is amazing. And what is happening? People are pissed at Trump. And they don't want to they're getting Trump fatigue right now. That's not good. So they're all trying to figure out their footing. And while they're doing it, they're having hissy fits on the way down. It's crazy. This is like the crabs in a boiling pot. And they're all trying to get up to crawl out of the this hot pot, but they're pulling each other down at the same time. That's literally what we're seeing in real time. You understand that? Like I said, this is wild. This is fascinating. And it's happening in 4K. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in, being a part of the conversation. Like I said, you guys could be watching anything else in the world and you decide to watch this show. That means the world to me. You have no idea. So before you head out, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button, please, and thank you. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all of them, so make sure you are hitting that follow button, please, and thank you. Subscribe here on my YouTube channel. Subscribe. Because we're keeping an eye on all this stuff. So subscribe, please, and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, of course, and hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys. It is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Have a great rest of your night. And if you are going out tonight, please make sure you have a designated driver. If you're going to go and party and partake in some libations, please make sure you have somebody who is sober taking your drunk ass home. That's all I ask. Arrive alive, okay? But enjoy the festivities if you are doing that. Okay? Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.